You should be the host, Judge.
All right. Justin, it doesn't look like I have the mute all and unmute all button.
You should be able to go up to the participants.
Right.
When you click on that, you should have the function to mute all and unmute all up there.
Well, usually as the host, I click on me in the participants list and it gives me a mute all or unmute. Am I crossing Zoom and WebEx?
Possibly, because I no longer have that function once I hand it off to you, because I can just mute myself.
All right, well, I'm clicking on my bar. Well, it doesn't look like I have the mute all or unmute all.
Go to the very top of the screen where it says like file, edit, share, audio. Go to click on participant.
Okay, all right.
Got it?
Yeah, I'm mixed up between my virtual meetings, I guess.
It happens. All right.
Members,
from all over the world.
I want to call the
What is
order.
Terry's got noise again.
Members, I've called the meeting to order, the June Quorum Court meeting for Pulaski County.
I don't know, Amy. I'm telling you.
Okay, members, I've called the meeting to order for June Quorum Court, Pulaski County. Welcome, everyone. We have a pretty short agenda. When it's time to vote on things, and I will unmute you all. Please try to keep from shuffling paper on the desk or any background noise. And if when you're done with your vote, if you will remute yourself, it will be helpful for all of us. Members, Justin Jefferson has volunteered to give our invocation today, as is our tradition. Justice.
Judge, we can't hear a word you're saying, sir, for the last minute or so.
I can hear.
Can hear.
I can hear you just fine, Judge.
I heard you fine.
Okay, Phil, you may need to turn the volume up on your speaker. I'm not sure. Can you hear me now?
Say here.
On everyone on unmuted. Apparently we're having some difficulty. If you have background noise or location, please mute yourself until it's time for you to speak. Justice Jefferson, you recognize to give the invitation. Will you all please join me by being silent while Justice Jefferson gives us this invocation?
Let's pray. Father God, we just want to say thank you once again, Father. Thank you for just blessing us and guiding us, Lord. Thank you for lifting us up, Lord. Thank you for letting us do your will, Lord. We ask you to bless our county judge. Continue to strengthen him and guide him, Lord. Continue to give him the strength that he needs to do the duties of here in Patrick County. Continue to bless him. Continue to surround him with great people around him. Continue to bless each and every one of us to make sure we do the duties of this county. We ask you to be with us and guide us, Lord. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Justice Jefferson. And Justice Medlock, will you now lead us in the Pledge of the Allegiance?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Justice Medlock. Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Okay. Justice Reed,
Here.
Justice Denton,
Here.
Justice Lewison,
Here.
Justice Blackwood,
Here.
Justice McMullen, Justice McMullen, Justice Massey, Justice Massey. I see her name, but I think her microphone's muted. Justice Coney. Justice Coney.
Last week,
Justice,
not the first problem. Here. And I said a common denominator. She wasn't there.
Justice Green.
Here.
Justice Jefferson.
Here.
Justice Robinson.
Here.
Justice McCoy.
Here.
Justice Stowers.
Present.
Justice Elliott.
Here.
Justice Medlock.
Here.
I'm going to go back. Justice Coney. All right. Justice Massey.
My mic is muted. I can't
Yeah,
say anything.
that'll make it work.
Is that Justice Massey saying the mic is muted?
Yes, yes.
So it's not muted because I can hear you. Thank you, ma'am.
Well, it was muted and it wouldn't let me say anything.
Stand. Justice McMullen. All right. Thank you.
Gotta get those microphones in first so I can get these people back up there and working because this is
13 present, 2 absent. Sorry, Judge, for taking so long.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Take your time and we'll get it as right as it can be got. And once we get moved on with business, I'll be able to mute more of the microphones. Members, you should have received in your packets this month the minutes for last month's meeting. I'm assuming that you've read them from here with them. I'll accept the motion for adoption.
So moved.
Second.
Members, I have a motion and a second. In light of the media we conduct this meeting on tonight, I'm going to ask for a voice vote. We're all unmuted. All those in favor of adopting these minutes say so. Indicate so by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed, please say nay. Madam Clerk, sounds like we passed it unanimously. We've adopted the minutes. Madam Clerk, you should have committee reports. I'm going to mute everybody and then I'm going to unmute you. So just give me a second.
Thank you. Are you ready for me, Judge?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, the list of participants is taller than my screen, and unfortunately, you're showing up at the bottom. So, Madam Clerk, if you will, please read the committee reports to us.
Certainly. June 23rd, 2020, to the presiding officer of the Pulaski County Quorum Court, we, your committee of the agenda, to whom was referred items 20I-30, 20I-31, 20I-32, 20I-33, beg leave to report that we have had the same under consideration and herewith return the same with a recommendation of due pass. Respectfully submitted, Curtis A. Keith, Chair. And the next one, June 23rd, 2020, to the presiding officer of the Pulaski County Quorum Court, we, your committee of the budget, to whom was referred items 20I-34, 20I-35, beg leave to report that we have the same under consideration and herewith return the same with a recommendation of due pass. Respectfully submitted, Donna Massey, Chair. Committee reports.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have no unfinished business on our agenda. We'll move to new business, which will be resolutions. Members, it looks like there's two computers or iPhones that I'm unable to mute. One is Jimmy Red 1978. No, so Jimmy Red 1978, please mute your device, whether it's an iPhone or whatever.
All right, this is Lily. I wanted them to know that I've joined the meeting.
Thank you, Lily. And if you will, please, as we proceed now with business, we'll go on. Members, that moves us to resolutions. So, Madam Clerk, if you will, please read Resolution 20I-30. Please read 20I-30.
Certainly. A resolution of the Quorum Court of Pulaski County certifying local government endorsement of Arcturus, Inc., doing business as Arcturus Aerospace, to participate in the Consolidated Incentive Tax Back Act of 2003. Arcturus, sorry, I hope I pronounced that right.
Justice Coney, you're recognized for the motion.
Question. I think Teresa's having some issues getting online.
Reed, you're recognized for the motion.
Move for the adoption.
Thank you. Members, do I hear a second?
Second.
Members, you heard motion to adopt, approve 20I-30. I've heard a second. Are there any questions or discussion? There being none, Clerk, will you please call the roll for Resolution 20I-30?
Ms. Medlock?
Aye.
Mr. Elliott?
Yes.
Mr. Stowers?
Yes.
Mr. McCoy?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Jefferson?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Aye.
Mr. Keith?
Yes.
Ms. Coney? Ms. Massey?
Aye.
Ms. McMullen?
No.
Ms. Blackwood?
Aye.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Denton?
Aye.
Mr. Reed? I'm sorry, Mr. Reed?
Yes.
All right, that would be one absent and one nay.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Justice Coney passed Resolution 20I-30. Madam Clerk, will you please now read for us Resolution 20I-31?
A resolution of the Quorum Court of Pulaski County certifying local government endorsement of Infusion Centers of America, LLC, DBA Alleviant, to participate in the Consolidated Incentive Tax Back Act of 2003.
Justice Blackwood, you're recognized for a motion.
I move for the adoption.
Second.
Members, you've heard the motion, you've heard the second. Is there any discussion or is there any questions on 20I-31? Madam Clerk, there being none, will you please call the roll for Resolution 20I-31?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dutton,
Aye.
I'm sorry, but can whoever's moving just please stop because I can't hear. Thank you. Ms. Lewison,
Yes.
Ms. Blackwood,
Aye.
Ms. McMullen, Ms. Massey,
Aye.
Ms. Coney, Mr. Keith,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Aye.
Mr. Jefferson,
Aye.
Mr. Robinson,
Yes.
Mr. McCoy,
Yes.
Mr. Stowers,
Yes.
Elliott. Mr. Elliott,
Yes.
Ms. Medlock.
Aye.
All right, thank you. That's 13 ayes, 1 absent, and 1 nay.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Justice Blackwood, you passed Resolution 20I-31. If you will, Madam Clerk, please read for us Resolution 20I-32.
Certainly. Again, please, who's ever moving around, I need you to stop moving around, please. Thank you. Ms.
I think it's the judge.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was supposed to read it. Oh, I'm already going to the vote. See, it just got me off. I am so sorry. A resolution of the Quorum Court of Pulaski County certifying local county government endorsement of HMS Manufacturing Company to participate in the Consolidated Incentive Tax Back Act of 2003.
Move for the adoption.
Justice, you recognized for the motion.
Move for the adoption.
Second.
Members, you've heard the motion, you've heard the second. Are there any questions? Any discussion? Resolution 20I-32.
All right.
I do. I have discussion. Can you hear me?
Madam Clerk, there being no discussion, please.
Judge, I think I hear Justice McMullen wants to say something.
Justice McMullen, you can barely be heard, so either speak directly in your microphone or turn your volume up.
Well, I'm trying. Is that any
Justice
better?
McMullen, you're recognized for the question.
Yes, thank you very much. This is the manufacturing company, I understand, and is anyone there present to represent it at all? Anybody from the Chamber of Commerce at this time?
I can speak to it. I can speak to it as I did at the agenda meeting. Going to hire 600 people at 1584.
Hello?
Ms. McMullen, are you on?
Did you all hear me?
No,
Did y'all hear
I
me?
didn't hear her, but
Justice McMullen?
yes,
Justice
can you hear
McMullen,
me?
you're recognized for your question. We didn't hear it to begin with. Please start over.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can barely hear you, Ms. McMullen.
Well, I didn't hear exactly what Quorum Court member Julie Green said. But I do want to say this much, that they purchased this building in 2019. Okay, and it was for modernization and construction. And when I checked with the company, none of that has occurred. The estimated start date, I mean, was in 2019. Can you hear me?
Hey, Justin
So-
McMullen, this has been France from the Little Rock Chamber. They are starting operations this summer.
Who am I speaking with now?
Justice McMullen, is that your question is about the starting date?
Someone responded to what
Just
I said.
Justice McMullen, please, Justice McMullen, please hang on. Is that your question about this start date?
That was not a question. That was a statement about the starting date. However,
Okay,
I
did you
heard
just
a
want to
word-
share, did you just want to share your statement, or would you like some response?
He had given me some response, but I didn't quite hear him. So
Ma'am, I'm running this meeting, so if you will, bear with me so that we can maintain proper decorum and the proper procedures we normally expect. So are you asking for a response to your statement, Justice McMullen?
I said that I would like a response, but
Thank you, Justice McMullen.
you're welcome, Judge Hyde.
Mr. Ben France is with us here from the Greater Little Rock Chamber, and he can speak to this resolution. Mr. France, make sure you're directly into the microphone and you speak clearly. You're recognized.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Justin McMullen. Yes, HMS Manufacturing is a company out of Michigan that we've been working for about over a year. They were looking nationwide for a new building, and they were looking at multiple states. They decided to acquire a large building at the port, over 500,000 square feet, that's been sitting empty, and they're going to start manufacturing this summer, and they've already spent north of $20 million, and they will be hiring 60 people in August. Is there any other questions I can answer?
Well, I'm very glad that you are available to speak on that. As of now, they have not hired any, and they have not completed the modernization of the building.
They are in the process of improving the building now. They've hired a few people. The majority of the hires will be in August.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. France. Thank you, Justice McMullen. Are there any other questions?
Judge, just a minute. Did you not hear me? Did you hear me?
I heard you say thank you, so we're moving on to other questions.
I was not quite finished. I was thanking him. If the quorum court was there with me, I heard someone give a negative side, but I think
And Justice McMullen, you have the floor, only you are recognized, and to the issue, please.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is only for the sales and use tax as far as the county is concerned. Am I correct? In other words, it is not for the income tax credit. The state provides credit for that.
Justin McMullen, this has been France in the chamber. It's only for the sales tax, does not include any property tax, does not include any income tax, only sales use tax on qualified expenditures.
That is what I wanted to know. And as far as the income tax goes, that has to be approved by the state. Am I correct?
That is correct. It's already been approved.
All right. Thank you very much. I think that you have provided information that is useful, and that although it would appear that we're all aware of, I don't think that we're quite as aware as we have pretended to be. Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions from the quorum court? Madam Clerk? Clerk, there being none, will you please call the roll for Resolution 20I-32?
Certainly. Justice Medlock?
Aye.
Justice Elliott? Justice Stowers? Okay, Justice Stowers. All right, I'll go.
Just a point of order. This is Phil. I'm only getting like every 7th or 8th word from the clerk, so I'm not sure if my name has been called yet.
So I just called your name, Justice Stowers. Are you for item 20I-32? Or again?
Yay.
Thank you.
Yes.
Justice McCoy?
Yes.
Justice Robinson?
Yes.
Justice Jefferson?
Yes.
Justice Green?
Aye.
Justice Keith?
Yes.
Justice Coney?
Yes.
Justice Massey?
Aye.
Justice McMullen? Justice McMullen?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So are you voting yay or nay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Justice Blackwood?
Aye.
Justice Lewison?
Yes.
Justice Denton?
Aye.
Justice Reed?
Yes.
I'm gonna go back and see if we can get Justice Elliott. Justice Elliott?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. That's 13, that's 15 ayes.
Yes.
To make sure we have the right on the list. Average age.
Justice Green, you've passed Resolution 20I-32.
Thank you, Judge.
So I would love to.
Mute everyone, and then I'll unmute you to read the next resolution.
All right, are we ready? Okay.
Madam Clerk, if you will, please read Resolution 20I-33, and we'll keep trying. Thank you for your patience.
Perfect, not a problem. A resolution of the Quorum Court of Pulaski County certifying local government endorsement of Cypress Cold Storage LLC to participate in the Consolidated Incentive Tax Back Act of 2003.
Justice Elliott, you're recognized for the motion.
Move for the adoption.
And let me see if I can get this opened up for a. Members, you've heard the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Would everyone on this call please make sure that you're not having background conversations and there's no background noise and that you're not shuffling papers in front of your computer? It's much amplified to everybody else and making the meeting difficult. Members, you've heard the motion, you've heard the second. Are there any questions or discussion on Resolution 20I-33? Madam Clerk, there being none, will you please call the roll for the passage of Resolution 20I-33?
Certainly. Justice Reed?
Yes.
Justice Denton?
Aye.
Justice Lewison?
Yes.
Justice Blackwood?
Aye.
Justice McMullen? I'm sorry, was that a yes or no?
vote was a no.
Okay, thank you. Justice Massey,
Aye.
Justice Coney,
Yes.
Justice Keith,
Yes.
Justice Green,
Aye.
Justice Jefferson, Justice Jefferson,
Aye.
Justice Robinson,
Yes.
Justice McCoy,
Yes.
I think that was an aye. Justice Stowers,
Yes.
Justice Elliott,
Yes.
Justice Medlock,
Aye.
14 ayes, 1 nay.
Justice Elliott, you passed Resolution 20I-33. Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll try that again now, moving on to ordinances. Madam Clerk, I'm going to mute all, and then I'll unmute you and ask that you read ordinance 20I-34.
An ordinance amending ordinance 19 OR 32, 2020 annual budget, Pulaski County, Arkansas, to delete a detention officer position and to upgrade the director of data processing position to director of information technology, effective July 4th, 2020.
Move for the adoption.
Second.
Okay,
Second.
Justice Massey made the motion for adoption. I heard a second. Are there any questions or comments on ordinance 20I-34?
Question, please.
Was that Doug Reed?
Yes, sir.
Justice Reed, you're recognized for the question.
I would just like to hear from somebody if this is budget neutral or somebody just explain it a little bit so I can understand how we're spending the money and where it's coming from. Thank you.
Justice Reed, this is Judge Hyde, and for time, I can tell you that this is a budget neutral ordinance, as well as the next one. Does that give you the info you need?
Thank you. I yield. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Justice Reed. Members, are there any other questions on ordinance 20I-34?
Judge, this is Aaron Robinson. I have a question.
You're recognized for the question, Justice Robinson.
Thank you, sir. Why is it effective July 4th, since that's a Saturday?
It's most likely the beginning of the next pay period.
Let's put it in new pay period.
Does that answer?
Thank you.
Justice
Yes,
Robinson?
yes, sir. Thank you.
All righty, members, are there any other questions for ordinance 20I-34? Madam Clerk, I hear no more questions. Would you please call the roll for ordinance number 20I-34?
Certainly. Justice Medlock,
No.
Justice Elliott,
Yes.
Justice Stowers,
Yes.
Justice McCoy,
Yes.
Justice Robinson,
I abstain.
Justice Jefferson, Justice Green,
Aye.
Justice Keith,
Yes.
Justice Coney,
Yes.
Justice Massey,
Aye.
Justice McMullen,
Yes.
Justice Blackwood,
Aye.
Justice Lewison,
Yes.
Justice Denton,
Aye.
Justice Reed, Okay, I'm going to go back. I didn't hear Justice Jefferson. Justice Jefferson.
I said yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. One abstention, one no, 13 ayes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Justice Massey, members of the Budget Committee, you passed your ordinance 20I-34. Now, Madam Clerk, if you will, please read for us ordinance 20I-35.
An ordinance amending ordinance 19 OR 32, 2020 annual budget, Pulaski County, Arkansas, to delete 3 detention officer positions and create a prevention and reentry director position and a communications specialist position effective July 4th, 2020.
Justice Massey, you're recognized for the motion.
Move for the adoption.
Second.
Second.
Members, you've heard the motion, you've heard the second. Are there any questions or discussion on ordinance 20I-35? There being none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for ordinance 20I-35?
Certainly. Justice Reed.
Yes.
Justice Denton.
I believe Phil Stowers was trying to get a question in there.
Okay, so, but what was your vote, though?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Justice, I'm sorry, Judge, do you want to?
No, ma'am, you have already begun the roll and you should continue the roll.
Okay, thank you. Justice Lewison.
Yes.
Justice Blackwood.
Aye.
Justice McMullen.
Yes.
Justice Massey.
Aye.
Justice Coney.
Yes.
Justice Keith.
Yes.
Justice Green.
Aye.
Justice Jefferson.
Aye.
Justice Robinson.
Abstain.
Justice McCoy.
Yes.
Justice Stowers.
Yes.
Justice Elliott.
Yes.
Justice Medlock.
No.
One abstention. One nay. 13 yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And Justice Massey in the Budget Committee, you passed your ordinance 20I-35. Now, members, we have a late grant for community services that has come through, and we're under a tight deadline. So we have added a late filing for the appropriation of that grant. That's revenue neutral. It's no general fund money. It's a grant. So I'm going to need a motion to suspend the rules
So
for
moved.
late filing. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I've heard the motion. I've heard the second. For late filing, where the motion is to suspend the rules to hear the late filing. Excuse me. Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll to suspend the rule.
Justice Medlock.
Aye.
Justice Elliott.
Yes.
Justice Stowers.
Yes.
Justice McCoy.
Yes.
Justice Robinson.
Yes.
Justice Jefferson.
Aye.
Justice Green.
Aye.
Justice Keith.
Yes.
That hurts my ears so bad. Justice Coney.
Yes.
Justice Massey. Justice Massey. Okay, thank you. Justice McMullen.
Aye.
Justice Blackwood.
Aye.
Justice Lewison.
Yes.
Justice Denton. Justice Denton.
I said aye. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Justice Reed.
Yes.
15 ayes.
Okay, members, the rules have been suspended to hear a late filing. Madam Clerk, if you will now, please read for us ordinance 20I-36. And members, please try and once again refrain from any background noise, any else in the room, side conversation. Please try and remain as quiet as possible.
An ordinance amending ordinance 19 OR 32, 2020 annual budget, Pulaski County, Arkansas, to recognize and appropriate grant funds for the Community Services Department for the Continuum of Care program.
Justice Denton, you're recognized for a motion.
The adoption.
Second.
Members, you've heard the motion, you've heard the second. Are there any questions or discussion on ordinance
Judge Hyde, this is Luke
20I-36?
Judge Hyde, Luke McCoy, I have a couple of questions.
Justice McCoy, you're recognized for your question.
Who might be able to, I'm assuming Director Love is not with us on the call.
Justice, Director Love is on the call.
Okay, Director Love, I have a couple of questions. Are you available?
Sure.
Quickly, there's an item on there. It's one of the largest items. It says other professional services. I believe it's 137,539 in section 2 and M&O, specifically 3009. Can you elaborate on what that is?
Yes, sir, I can. During service line is where we do some of the outreach, some of the other services that we come with the centers for youth for mental health services. And so we have to have this line item in order to secure those services. We have different types of contracts that we contract with them so that our clients can get the mental health service that they need.
Mr. Love, you were broken up very badly. Mr. McCoy, did you get enough of that to answer your question?
Barely, thank you. But I think I understood it to be very, very professional services. So,
yeah,
and specifically mental health. So,
yes, sir.
Yes.
My next question, Director Love, is for the very last line item on there. Same section, 3111, housing assistance checks payable. I'm assuming that's, are we talking rent payments basically, or and if not, what else?
Yes, sir. These are the rent payments that we pay in with this program. So all of these are like the housing assistance payments. We have about 300 on this program, and so monthly we send out the housing payments.
Okay, thank you, Director Love. I yield, Judge.
Thank you, Director Love. Members, are there any other questions on ordinance 20I-36?
I have a question, Judge.
And is that Justice McMullen?
Yes, sir.
Justice McMullen, you're recognized for the question.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Love? Oh, mine has gone. I can't hear anyone.
Well, Director Love is answering you, Ms. McMullen. Please proceed with your question.
I'll try it again. Director Love? Well, that's all right. I'm not able to pick his audio up. So.
Oh, okay. JP,
okay, well, I'll ask the question and maybe you'll hear part of it. Anyway, that would be housing assistance only for those who live in unincorporated areas. Am I correct?
We have an interlocal agreement with all housing agencies for Shelter Plus Care so that we can house people throughout Pulaski County. So some persons will be in Little Rock, persons will be in North Little Rock because we have the only Shelter Plus Care program in Pulaski County.
So this is
Okay.
not like our traditional housing where we are sectioned out in jurisdiction. This program combines both mental health and housing. So we have the only program that we shelter people within Little Rock, within North Little Rock, and throughout the county.
Yes, with mental health issues.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's not only mental health. It could be any type of disability.
I see. So therefore, if a veteran is disabled, and this is to help them to move toward ownership.
No, this program is strictly for those that are homeless, that are suffering from some sort of disability. Usually we work with people with mental health issues, but it could be any disability. It could be domestic violence.
Yes, to help them move toward ownership.
That's usually with our traditional program, the home ownership program.
Okay, so I think I heard you say that it is not to help them to move toward ownership, but it's
no, ma'am. Usually the program of Miss McMullen is not traditionally geared toward home ownership, but in regards to actually getting a person stable and then and getting them assistance that they need with their disability.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Director Love, this is what we commonly call supportive housing. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's permanent supportive housing.
Members, are there any other questions?
Judge, I have a question. This is Judy Green. I need to know.
Justice Green, you're recognized for the question.
Thank you. Do we have two Judys online here? Because I saw Judy Green and then I saw Judy, and there was a Judy that left the meeting, and I wanted to make sure that it didn't show that I left the meeting. Are there two Judys on here?
Justice Green, there was a second Judy who is a representative of, I believe, the Mall Male Chamber of Commerce. She has left the meeting, but we're well aware, and the clerk's aware, that you're still in the meeting.
Thank you.
Members, are there any other questions for Director Love regarding Ordinance 20I-36? There being none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll for the passage of Ordinance 20I-36?
Certainly. Justice Reed.
Yes.
Justice Denton.
Aye.
Justice Lewison.
Yes.
Justice Blackwood.
Aye.
Justice McMullen.
Aye.
Justice Massey.
Aye.
Justice Coney.
Yes.
Justice Keith.
Yes.
Justice Green.
Aye.
Justice Jefferson.
Aye.
Justice Robinson.
Yes.
Justice McCoy.
Yes.
Justice Stowers.
Yes.
Justice Elliott.
Yes.
Justice Medlock.
Aye.
15 ayes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Justice Denton, you have passed Ordinance 20I-36. Members, I appreciate your help in hearing the late item. That completes our business agenda, and we adjourn our business meeting. Justin, I'm going to change order a little bit here. Do we have any public comments that you need to read for us?
No, sir. I have not received any public comments at this time, sir.
Thank you. Members, do you have any announcements you want to attempt to make via this medium? Being none, members, I'm going to announce to you that we have worked diligently, and when I say we, I mean Amy and Justin, in relaying out the courtroom with some additional tables, removing most of the chairs in the room, so that we can, beginning next month, our quorum court meeting will be held face to face. I assure you there is a minimum of 6 feet of distance provided from each, in between each person. And I think it'll be much more productive in our meeting. I appreciate your patience. If we have worked through these virtual meetings, they've been very difficult to run, and I'm sure they have at times been difficult to function within. Thank you very much. And members, you're adjourned.
Thank you, Judge.
Because he said that this is me concluded as of 6:49. That's what I wrote. And then to say we're adjusting, that's 6:50. So.
All right, Justin, is it down to you and I?
We're getting there. If you just click on my name, it should say change role to. And then
click on where?
Okay, so if you right click on my name, it'll say change role, and then just change it back to host.
There you go.
All right, appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.